Okay, let's keep on our discussions about financial ratios. Another way we can use financial ratio is to compare firms' performance with the aggregate economy. Because most firms are influenced by economic expansions and contractions in the business cycle, analyzing firms' financial ratios help investors to estimate the future performance of the firm. For example, when the world economy is facing financial crisis, firms with better debt ratio can better survive in such contracting economic condition. Or suppose firm has higher growth rate than the economy, it can be seen as growth stocks that have brighter futures. The more precise way to compare these ratios to the aggregate economy is to looking at the historical ratios in different situations. For example, how much average growth rate was the firm during the economic contraction or during the economic expansions. Suppose the firm's average growth rate was 3% during the contraction and firm is currently growing at 5% despite the contraction cycle. We can say that the firm is doing well, doing good. Conversely, if the firm's average growth rate was 20% during the expansions and if they are growing at only 15%, we can say that the firm is doing not that well considering its past performance. Okay, comparing with firms' industry is one of the most popular comparison among investors. It analyzes the industry's average performance compared to other industry. If you're analyzing Samsung Electronics, you can compare industry performances like IT versus automotives. This helps you pick industry to pick sectors before stock picking. And what industry do you think has the investment opportunity? To do this, you can use financial ratios and compare these numbers between industries. I guess most of you like AI industry recently. In this case, you can compare the average numbers, the average performance of that AI industry within the overall economy or other industries number. So today, really doing well. You guys read the newspaper or you guys get information that AI will grow well. But for really, how the numbers are showing that, how the numbers of the AI industry indicate, do they really have good ratios, good numbers? So you can use these financial ratios to analyze the firm. However, it requires your judgment. Suppose their current ratios numbers are better than the others. What does that mean? One of you might say that they are doing good, so it's a good investment because they have good ratios. Maybe the other one of you may say that there are less room for more growth since they are doing already good. Okay? Or suppose the current numbers are worse than the overall economy or those from other industries. Maybe one of you say they are doing bad, so it's not a good option. Or maybe the other one of you might say there are more room for rebound or growth in the future, so it is a good option. So while there is no answer, comparing numbers might give you some insights or implications. While comparing average numbers, average ratios, industry to industry, it may not refer to the firm situation. So after picking industry by comparing industry numbers, you may use firm-specific numbers to pick your individual stocks. One of the simple way to compare those ratios with its peers, with its industry, say Hyundai versus Kia, or Samsung versus Hynix. Or you can construct a composite industry average to compare the firm performance to its industry. The composite industry average is just calculated by taking the simple average. Let's say average industry sales is, you just take the simple mean. You just take all together the sale number of the firms in the industry. Let's say sales of Hyundai and Kia and divide by 2. Okay, this is just the simple industry average. So this is kind of a industry composite numbers. So you can use this number to compare the firm performance to its industry. Is the firm doing better than the industry or competitors? Okay, does the firm doing well? Is it a leading firm in the industry? Okay, while financial ratios might have some information, some value by itself, comparing those numbers with others may give you more value. Okay, you can also compare firm's ratio with its own past average to determine whether it is progressing or declining. Is it increasing trend or is it a decreasing trend? Okay, by doing so, you can analyze the trends of the firm performance, and this will help you predict the future. Of course, it is almost impossible to predict the future, and we know that from the efficient market hypothesis, past information is likely to be already reflected in the price. But how can we try to predict the future without looking at the past? Okay, we can make logical or reasonable decision by looking at the past numbers and compare the current numbers. So I believe it has some value. Okay, so it is helpful for estimating future performance, and you can try to predict a future trends by comparing the current ratio versus ratios in the past. Okay, is the for example, is the ratio profitability increasing or decreasing? Okay. Okay, so far we have discussed about where we can use or how we can use financial ratios. From now on, let's look at what are the typical financial ratios. Simply, there are 4 categories. Indeed, there are more, but these 4 categories are typical. First, the ratios that tell you about the firm's solvency. Okay, say liquidity ratios. Second, the ratios that tell you about the firm's operating performance or the operating efficiency. And the third is that the firm's operating or financial risk. This is different from solvency. A solvency tells you about the firm's ability to pay off its debt. So for example, how much cash do you have to pay off your debt? So it is related with the default risk. Of course, these debt ratios are included in financial risk. So those are same, but they have some different ratios.